Recently, a natural disaster took place at my birding area. A few nights ago, a windstorm, thunderstorm came through, high winds, and it blew over this tree right here, which I think you can see the stump, but that's just over here beside the house. That's not in the birding area. But down here in the birding area, the tree that used to be here blew completely over. Fortunately, it missed the back deck, which is where the bird zone is, and it landed over here in the yard. It took out my bird feeder, but it didn't hit the deck, so that was pretty good. And then this other tree right here was bent over, so I had to have that one cut down, and I cut this one down. Myself and Heather's father worked on that, and we ended up getting this tree off the roof. But now my background for the birding is mostly gone. I still have this tree, but as you can see, you know, it used to have a tree growing right up to it, and that's why it looks like half a tree, but that's just the way the tree grew. Here are some cell phone photos I made the morning after the storm, and you can see the tree laying on top of the house. What a chore it was to get that thing off. Thanks to Heather's dad for helping me. And here's the other tree that fell completely over and pulled the root ball out of the ground. You can see where it hit the wrought iron feeder holder and bent it completely over. And here is another shot of the tree laying on the house. We did get it completely down. We damaged one roofing shingle that I had to repair, and one more shot of the tree. There's the huge root ball in the air on the right hand side, and on the left you can see the back porch where all the feeder stations were, but the porch survived, the feeder stations not so much. So this is the direction that the blind used to face, and as you can see, now I have a house in the background instead of a tree. So what I've done was I've moved the blind over from where it used to sit right here to its new location right here, and now it's facing at an angle, and that puts this tree in the background of most of my perches. Heather is at work today, but I spent a couple of hours this morning in the blind. It is about 10 minutes after sunrise, and I'm in the blind, and the first bird I saw was the male Downy Woodpecker. I had just put my camera on the tripod. I didn't even have my settings dialed in, but there it was, and it lands on the suet feeder, and then it jumps over to the branch that I have festooned to the porch, which is less than a foot away, but it feeds and then it goes back to its comfort zone on a vertical branch, and that's where I get the shots. Pretty happy with these Downy Woodpecker shots. This first one I was at 1/200th of a second, and that left me at 5,000 ISO because it was so early right after sunrise. And then the bird went back over to the suet feeder, and while it was there I switched to 1/125th and made this shot, and I made this next shot as well. But you can see in the second and third shot there is suet on the bird's beak, but the first shot at 5,000 ISO there was no suet because it hadn't been to the feeder yet. It's much colder this morning than I was expecting it to be. I had to go back inside and put on another layer. Today's March 30th, and the temperature is in the mid-30s Fahrenheit this morning. The next bird I saw was a house finch. Here is the house finch on one of the perches that I've been using for quite some time. Super warm this shot because of the golden hour light. I actually cooled this shot down quite a bit, and this one as well. This one's on one of the new perches, and they're still super warm because of the golden hour light, even after being cooled down. The Carolina Wren dropped in for a visit. Here's the Carolina Wren, and it was singing and standing on the new wrought iron bird feeder holder that we purchased to replace the one that got destroyed. But what a beautiful bird in the golden hour light. Rodney, the squirrel, stopped by for his breakfast. I've learned that if I put some seeds out for Rodney where he doesn't have to climb up and try to get into the bird feeder, that keeps the bird feeder from being completely destroyed. You know, I don't mind Rodney getting a little bird seed, but I do mind him tearing up the bird feeder, so we've reached a compromise with this. And of course, we always see the northern mockingbird. These two mockingbird shots were not taken at the exact same time and not the same place, but look how bright the eye is on this shot And then this mockingbird, which may be the same mockingbird or it may be a different one, its eye is not nearly as bright. Maybe the sun was shining directly into the eye of the first photo. I've added a water feature out here, not to make photographs of the birds here, but to at least draw them in. I still have this perch, which today did almost no good. And I still have this perch, which I've used in pretty much every video from the back porch recently. This is a new perch right here that I added. I had one just to the right of it, but it was a little too close to the suet feeder, and sometimes the suet feeder would get in the shot. So I moved this one over one section. It's a pretty nice little perch. Had to get a whole new device to hang from here because my previous one got destroyed. The perch that was here, I've moved over here, and I've made a few shots on it. And the perch that was up here on the top, I've moved it over here. It's kind of struggling to get shots on this so far, but I'll keep working. And then I've added an up high perch. I festooned a branch onto that wrought iron pole that has had some activity. Then a blue jay stopped by and landed on the Leland cypress, which of course now the Leland cypress doesn't have another one beside it, so it's just open on one side. And I got a shot of the blue jay in the Leland cypress. I'm always happy to get a photograph of a blue jay, and this is a beautiful example. I think I need to find which branch this is and trim some of those dead twigs off, because I could probably get great shots here in the future, especially with those twigs not in the way. The male cardinal stopped by, but it didn't go any place except for where I have some seed. I didn't get any photographs of the cardinal, but I did make this quick video clip of the cardinal eating black oil sunflower seeds. I have a new bird feeder that holds 3 kinds of feed at the same time. I'm using black oil sunflower seeds and a millet seed blend, and also a new seed for me is this nut and berry mix. The suet that we use is woodpecker treat. The device that holds the suet got bent up pretty good, and I had to straighten it back out with some pliers. It doesn't have to be perfect. The birds don't care. I have a new perch that's really high, and to get a shot of a bird on that perch, I have to really tilt the camera up. But an American goldfinch landed there just now. I think probably a juvenile. It's really splotchy in terms of coloration. Here is the American goldfinch high up on that perch that I had festooned to the wrought iron. And I don't know if he is immature or if he's molting or maybe a little bit of both. I'm not really sure, but I was really happy to see this bird. I've never seen one look quite like this, and I was able to get a quick burst of shots, and I decided to share these 3 with you. I hope you like them. Rodney the squirrel is here, and he is definitely the most frequent visitor this morning. I made some crazy up close shots of him and some video of him eating his sunflower seeds. Here is the extreme close-up of Rodney, the squirrel that we've named Rodney, and if you look closely you can see our house reflected in his eye, and I talked about making a video clip of him as well, and I'm going to share that at the very end of the video. I still have more cleanup to do out here, and I have some soil to fill in. This root ball was completely out of the ground and it's dropped back down. I'm going to get the chainsaw back out and cut those roots off and try to fill that in with some of this dirt. And Heather and I went last night and bought a new tree. This is not a Leland cypress. We bought a limber pine Vanderwolf's pyramid. So I'm going to plant that and see how it goes. The Carolina wren stopped back by. Here is the Carolina wren. We really enjoy seeing these on the back porch, and what a beautiful bird it is. We love the brown eyes and all the beautiful shades of brown and beige. Just so fun to see, and they're so loud. Their song is so loud and joyous. Thanks for joining me from what's left of the bird studio this morning, and getting the chance to see the beginning of the rebuilding process. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you like the content, subscribe, hit the bell, and as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.